The ripple effect of kindness. Welcome to Life Tells Stories, where we share touching, real-life experiences that remind us of the beauty of human compassion. Today, we bring you an incredible story of how a waitress's small, selfless act towards a hungry boy transformed her life forever. This isn't just about a meal. It's about the invisible power of kindness and how it ripples outwards, touching lives in ways we can never foresee. Have you ever wondered if one simple gesture could change your life in an extraordinary way? Stay with us as we unravel this uplifting story, and let us know in the comments, what's the kindest act someone has done for you, or you have done for another person? Before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Life Tells Stories to be moved and inspired by many more tales like this one. Now let's dive into the story of Hannah and her unexpected journey of generosity. Hannah worked tirelessly as a waitress at a small neighborhood diner. Every day, her life was a constant rhythm of tired smiles, aching feet, and repetitive tasks. The sun would barely rise before she found herself at the diner, pouring coffee and taking orders. Despite her efforts, Hannah's paycheck barely covered her rent. Her apartment was modest, the furniture worn, but she took solace in the small moments of quiet satisfaction. A brief break, a simple sandwich, a warm ray of sunlight through the window. Hannah didn't complain. To her, this job was more than just a paycheck. It was her lifeline, the only thing keeping her grounded as she navigated her solitary life. She had no family close by, and friendships had faded over time. The diner and its bustling routine gave her a purpose and a place where she felt she belonged. One afternoon, during her short break, Hannah finally got a moment to rest. She sat in a quiet corner, unwrapping the simple sandwich she had brought from home. It wasn't much, just bread and a few slices of meat, but it was enough to get her through the rest of her shift. As she was about to take her first bite, Hannah noticed something that caught her eye. A young boy, no more than 8 or 9, stood just outside the window. His clothes were too big and clearly worn out, his eyes hollow and hungry, fixed intensely on her food. Hannah could see the longing in his gaze. It was a look she recognized, one of desperation, a silent plea for help. Without a second thought, she smiled at the boy and gestured for him to come inside. The boy hesitated, looking around as if unsure of whether he was allowed to enter. Finally, he stepped inside and approached Hannah slowly. She could see how nervous he was, and her heart went out to him. She pushed half of her sandwich towards him, offering a warm smile. "Here, eat up," she said gently. The boy's eyes went wide as he took the sandwich. He held it carefully, as if afraid it might vanish at any moment. He took a small bite, savoring it as though it were a gourmet meal. Hannah watched him eat, feeling a warmth spread through her heart. The sacrifice of half her meal didn't matter. In that moment, she knew that this simple gesture, this small act of sharing, meant the world to that little boy. What Hannah didn't notice was a man in a suit, sitting across the room. He had been quietly observing the scene from afar, his gaze fixed on her interaction with the boy. This man, a stranger to Hannah, was clearly touched by the genuine kindness he witnessed. There was something about Hannah's small but meaningful gesture that resonated deeply with him. He kept watching as she returned to work, smiling softly as she cleared tables and served other customers, her thoughts lingering on the boy she had just helped. This stranger in the suit knew that he had just witnessed something extraordinary, a moment of pure, selfless humanity. The next morning, as Hannah prepared to leave her small apartment for her morning shift, she noticed something unusual. Tucked under her door was an envelope. She paused, puzzled, bending down to pick it up. She hadn't expected any mail, and it was rare for someone to leave anything for her in person. Curious, she opened the envelope to reveal a simple handwritten note. It read, "Kindness doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you for caring, even when no one else was watching." Hannah's heart skipped a beat as she read the words. Who had written this? How did they know what she had done for the boy? She couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was at play, that her small gesture of kindness had somehow resonated with someone. Hannah carried the note with her throughout the day. It gave her a quiet sense of strength. As she worked her shift, she couldn't help but look at each customer, wondering if one of them had left the note. Everyone seemed as ordinary as ever, busy with their own lives, talking, laughing, scrolling through their phones. A few hours into her shift, the door opened, and Hannah saw a familiar face. The man in the suit. He took a seat in the same corner booth as the day before, his gaze steady and watchful. When she served him, he thanked her softly, and there was a warmth in his eyes that she couldn't quite place. When he finished his meal, he left a generous tip, and beneath it was another note. Sometimes small acts lead to great changes. Hannah felt her heart quicken as she read it. The words seemed to carry a weight she couldn't yet understand. The next day, Hannah walked into the diner with a sense of anticipation. Hours passed, and he didn't appear, and her hopes began to fade. But just as her shift was nearing its end, the door swung open, and there he was again, calm and purposeful. He sat down, and this time, Hannah approached him with a smile. He looked up at her and said, "Hannah, I've been watching the way you treat others. The kindness you show without expecting anything in return. It's rare." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a sealed envelope, handing it to her. "Open it later when you're alone," he said softly. There was something in his voice that promised change, a chance for something more. That evening, in the quiet of her apartment, Hannah opened the envelope. Her hands trembled as she pulled out a handwritten letter and something else, a check. The letter explained that the man was offering her a new opportunity, a stable job that would pay her enough to start fresh. Hannah's eyes filled with tears. She could hardly believe it. A single act of kindness, a sandwich shared with a hungry boy, had set off a chain of events that had led her here. Viewer interaction. Have you ever experienced how a small gesture of kindness came back to you in an unexpected way? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. The days that followed were a whirlwind for Hannah. She accepted the man's offer, stepping into a new life that was beyond anything she had imagined. The new job brought stability, respect, and a sense of purpose she had been yearning for. The financial struggles that had haunted her were finally gone. Hannah no longer had to worry about making rent or skipping meals. Yet through all the change, her heart remained the same. She knew what it meant to struggle, and she knew the value of a small gesture of kindness. One afternoon, Hannah returned to the diner where it all began. The familiar faces, the comforting hum of conversations, the clatter of dishes, all of it brought back memories of her past life. She asked the manager about the young boy, but he hadn't returned since that day. As she left the diner, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. For the boy, for the man in the suit, for the countless people who had unknowingly played a part in her journey. She realized, standing on the familiar street, that small acts of kindness can ripple outwards, changing lives in ways that we may never see. The story of Hannah reminds us all of a powerful truth, that even the smallest acts of kindness can change someone's world. We never know who's watching or who might be touched by our actions. Hannah's simple choice to share her meal not only changed the course of her own life, but also served as a beautiful reminder of the potential we all have to make a difference. What would happen if we all decided to be a little kinder today? Maybe, just maybe, we could be the reason someone's life changes for the better. If you love this story, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Life Tells Stories for more inspiring content that speaks to the heart. And don't forget, kindness matters. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep spreading those small acts of kindness. You never know whose life you might change. Stay compassionate, stay kind, and keep believing in the magic of everyday moments. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you in our next story.